moving on, President Cyril Ramaphosa has opposed the proposal to cut some of South African Airways' domestic routes. The comments come after business rescuers proposed cancelling flights to Durban, East London and Port Elizabeth from February 29th. The rescue team says this will make SAA sustainable and free from government funding after the restructuring effort. Now, despite the government's objections, the specialists are entitled to make the final decisions under South Africa's company laws. SAA is among several state entities that are drowning in debt after nearly a decade of mismanagement, as Angelo Coppola reports.
The airline has cancelled several flights since mid-January. At the beginning of February, it announced that retrenchments were now unavoidable.
The difficulty is that when you've got an ailing airline with challenges in terms of meeting some of the short-term targets, with huge pressure in terms of debt repayments, tough decisions have to be made. The consequences of that is obviously that SAA will not need all of the staff that they currently have, because they have less routes and obviously less need for different staff in this environment.
Some 100 flights will be cancelled by the end of February. One labour union with members at SAA wasn't surprised by the move to cut routes so drastically.
We expected a radical restructuring, and stopping loss-making routes is one of the things that was an option on the table. We're not that necessarily fussed about the announcement of the routes that are being stopped. What we are quite angry about, however, is announcing retrenchments without actually announcing your business rescue plan, which means we're basically retrenching as a knee-jerk reaction to cash flow, and that's not the way you're going to save this airline. You're not going to retrench yourself into profit.
Analysts see this as a first step in a strategy to save the airline, but they want more details.
We've got to find a way where we can support the airline, but at the same time provide a way in which the airline can provide certainty to the market, and also perhaps put a proper plan in place in terms of the long-term sustainability of the airline.
All the stakeholders involved in the airline want it to survive.
We, from the very start, said an airline like SAA can be saved, but I don't think we were under any illusions that the SAA that emerges from this process would look vastly different than the one we had before. You could not continue with business as usual. That ended up with a 6 billion rand net loss every single year.
While solutions are being sought, criticism has been levelled at the business rescue practitioners for the way they have dealt with the unions.
Our worry is, in order to enact a turnaround here, you will need all stakeholders to be completely bought in and on board. And sidestepping labour like this means that you're basically setting yourself up for failure.
While the business rescue practitioners negotiate that path between what's happening on the politics and what's happening in terms of unions, they seem to have the best interests of the airline at heart. We'll have to see if they get it right, though. I'm Angelo Coppola for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.